Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Doctor Who and Autism series. Today, I'm joined with David, and David has Asperger's and loves Doctor Who, of course. Uh, well, thanks, David. It's going to be really nice chatting to you today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'd like to talk about autism, Asperger's, Doctor Who with you. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself.
Hello, I'm David. I have autism and Asperger's, though they've kind of fused it now, so just autistic. I love Doctor Who, big fan of 11, and yeah.
Yeah. So, I suppose just to start off with, do you think that kind of links into why we like Doctor Who, like being autistic?
I think so. I think there is, and I mean, this goes for anything, movies and that, but I think with Doctor Who especially, there's an escapism. There is going to different worlds, and I think that really attracts autistic minds because they do say autism has a lot of autistic people have a big imagination, and I think Doctor Who really unlocks that for a lot of us. I know, at least speaking for myself, it does, and I love that escapism. It's very relaxing as well. I can put on an episode of Doctor Who if I'm getting stressed or frustrated. I can just put on an episode and just escape in it. And I think Doctor Who does really attract that. And I think in some ways, especially you watch some of the Doctors, I think there is some of them even have a bit of autism in
Yeah.
their characters. And I think that is another reason that draws in so many, because we can kind of relate. There's some things that the Doctor does that we can kind of relate to. And at least that's my theory.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree. Like it's because they do things like they don't explain things sometimes, do they?
No.
Because I think of course everyone's different, but I know for some instances people tend to keep things to themselves, and doctors like them most of the time to keep the things to themselves, don't they?
Absolutely. They a lot of times they think, well, I'm going to say this, and it's not always the right thing to say. I mean, a big one for that was 12. 12 had the little cards when he was relating to people, and you could say that was just like, you could say that, oh well, because he's an alien, but he's been around humans for a long time, and I think that's just part of his character. It's just like, I don't know how to interact with people sometimes, and there are some people out there that can relate to that. And there's times where, yeah, like you said, Mason, there's times where the Doctor just keeps the stuff to himself because he thinks they don't need to know that at the time, but I do, and that's not always the best thing. So
No, like I've come to instances where like you possibly ask someone to explain themselves and they still don't. Like the amount of times you ask and they just I'll do it for you. It's gonna be much quicker if I don't explain what I'm doing and
yeah,
I'll do it and it'll be done with.
absolutely, absolutely.
I suppose half they're right, but you still would want to know what they're doing. You don't want someone to do something for you and later on something goes wrong and you don't know what to do. You have to ask that person, what have you done?
Exactly. And it's one of those things where, again, this is something that a lot of autistic people can relate to, because they'll keep something to themselves and then get frustrated when someone does something different. And they don't realize, was like, well, I should have told them, but they don't realize that at the time. And sometimes that's something you keep to themselves and you get frustrated. I know for that's happened to me a couple of times where I've not explained to someone and then they've done something and you go, well, why have you done this? And I'm like, wait, and then you realize like a week later, like, oh yeah, I should have told. That would have gone a lot more smoothly.
Yeah, I think it's great. So as your doctor's the 11th Doctor, of course.
Absolutely.
Um, so do you want to explain why does he beat for you all the others? Would you say like why is he your doctor?
Well, he's an interesting one because because I got into Doctor Who through my dad. My dad's a big fan, and when obviously David Tennant announced he was leaving, and we saw the first promotional picture of Matt Smith outside the TARDIS in that black jacket and outfit, we both looked at each other and went, "He's too young. Like, what? This is the guy they've got to play 11? Really?" First episode, 11th hour. I'm like, by the end of, not even by the end of the episode, I literally went, "This is my doctor." I love this doctor, Matt. To me, one of the things I think he succeeds in encapsulating the character. Now, obviously, every incarnation is different, and everyone brings something different to the Doctor. But one of the things that I think Matt nails more than maybe some of the other modern Doctors is he can do that old man in a young man's body, and he feels like an old man in a young man's body. And I'm not just saying about the whole thing like, oh, bow ties are cool and stuff like that, where he's trying to be cool and not. There are times when he's like, especially talking to children, and it feels like an old man talking to a child trying to calm. And he has the ages in his mouth. And when he's angry, you feel that years of anger building up, and he doesn't have to shout it. It's one of those things where, especially in A Good Man Goes to War, and he's just talking low, and he's like he's talking down to someone, like an old man does, down to someone. And it's one of those things, and it clicks with me. And he's now my family's favorite Doctor because of that. And Matt exudes that. And he's one of those times where you want to feel safe with the Doctor. You want to feel excited with the Doctor. And I'll put on an episode of Doctor Who, any episode of Matt's, any episode, and he'll just make me smile. He just exudes that. I can't really find the right word for it, but that, okay, I'm gonna feel good watching this Doctor, even in some of the darker moments. Like one of my favorite episodes is Good Man Goes to War, but A Town Called Mercy, where he's talking to Amy about Mercy, and it's one of those things that even then I can say, well, this feels like the Doctor to me. This is an ancient alien in a young man's body. This is the Doctor to me. And I think that's why I really love cosplaying Matt. I love getting all the costumes, the toys and stuff like that, because 11 to me, I think is a shot in lightning. I think we'll never get another Doctor like that. And don't get me wrong, every Doctor is amazing. Every single one has brought something fantastic to the role. But for at least me and my family, Matt will always remain our favorite because he captured it so well. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why I love him so much.
Yeah, he's a very good Doctor. Like I think I agree with everything you're saying, because for me, David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, was my Doctor because I grew up with him, and I started watching from the 9th Doctor onwards, but
yeah, same.
But I didn't cry when the 9th Doctor left, because it was almost like he was very sad. But when the 10th Doctor hit, I did cry because I almost thought, I know he didn't say a lot, but he he's going to regenerate anyway. That's the thing about Doctor Who. You know when they're going to go. You know that's going to be the last episode. And I don't want to go, and it is. I was very sad, and he even said that on the 50th. And
yeah,
from him coming back, however he is, what I want him to say, because as we spoke before, he's selfish, and I completely agree. He was very selfish, not just at the end. I did not like the way he treated Wilfred at the end of his timeline, because I love Wilfred.
Yeah, everyone loves Will.
Yeah, we all love Wilfred, and he blaming him for having to go in there and save him. And I think that's what did actually force him to regenerate in the end. But yeah, it's similar from Martha. What happened when Martha taking Martha to the same places, and like you kind of know the Doctor is not stupid, is he? He knew Martha probably had feelings from when he said at the very first episode Martha was in. It don't mean anything when they kissed each other. But from there, he kind of become a very selfish person. Like if he couldn't move on from Rose, he shouldn't have travelled with anyone. I think. Because I think it's good when the Doctor's on their own. David experienced that for a little bit, but not enough. And that's what I want within a new Doctor to do. I don't want a companion straight away. I want maybe a few episodes, him on his own, just realizing who he is rather than focusing on the companion straight away. Because
Yeah,
I think that would be nice.
I think so. I mean, with 10's a very complex doctor. He does have those selfish and vain moments. I mean, we even said before this. They said like there's that great line in um, when they're on Trenzler where Matt goes, where Clara's telling him, we'll just regenerate again. And he's just like, well, did you forget about Captain Grumpy? And he's just like, well, that would make you 12. Was like, well, um, 10 regenerated, kept the same face. We had vanity issues at the time. But I think what draws a lot of people to 10 is just that charm as well. I think, if anything, 10 was unique in the way that he was trying to make everyone like him. And I think not just the audience. I mean, part of the regeneration, I think, from 9 to 10 is interesting because you got 9, who's still suffering from the effects of the Time War. And so is 10, but 10's trying to be more upbeat and more of a charmer and that because he was I think that's a byproduct of him traveling with Rose previously. It's his regeneration into this version of him was for Rose because to make her feel better. I mean, there's a lot of theories that regeneration is a lot of it is subconscious. I mean, Romana in the original series could regenerate whenever she wanted to, whether that's a product of female Time Lord, we don't know. But it's interesting the fact that sometimes the Doctor regenerates into something that he needs for that, and I think a big one is like 12 for that. So yes, 10 can be selfish and vain, and he was, but I think, as I said before, I can understand on the side why he was like that, because there's a lot of great videos online of people checking how long each Doctor lived, and there's a lot of theories that 10 was actually not alive for that long. So it would be natural for him to feel, why should I go now? I've only literally just started doing stuff. So, which is an interesting, like I said, regeneration. I think this is part of my autism as well. Like, I love the lore behind the show. So like the psychology of regeneration and stuff like that is fascinating to me. So
yeah, it is, and regeneration is always nice. Like, because you go into the episode not knowing how the Doctor's going to regenerate, and you know it's going to happen. But yeah, like so what's your thoughts on, like, at the moment, like within 30th Doctor like era?
Which one? Sorry.
Like with the 30th Doctor,
Oh,
like, like her seasons, like, have you enjoyed that?
Some bits I've enjoyed. I'll be honest. I think I agree with a lot of fans. The writing really let Jodie down, and the reason I know this is because recently Jodie as 13 has done this fantastic audio series called Redacted. I don't know if you guys have listened to it, but it is amazing, and it just goes to show. I think, given the right writing, her 13 can really take off. But I think I have to admit, I was not a fan of series 11 and 12. In fact, it was the first time I struggled to get through a series, which, as a Doctor Who fan, I hate to admit. But it was one of those things. And like I said, I don't blame Jodie. I think Jodie did really good for what she had. And like I said, Redacted, amazing. She's fantastic in that. Given the writing, she can blow everyone away. But I think, yeah, I was a bit let down. But I'm looking forward to her doing, like, her comic stories have been really good. I have been reading some of her comic stories. And I'm really excited to when she will partner up with Big Finish to do Big Finish audios, because I think she's going to really do well. I mean, look what happened to Colin Baker. A lot of people hated Colin Baker's Sixth Doctor, but that was because the writing for his Doctor was all over the place. And he's doing Big Finish. And I've, thanks to my friends Abby and Zach, and that, I've listened to a lot of these now, and they're fantastic. So I think once 13 leaves the show, I think she's really going to fly, and she's going to get more fans. And I think a lot of people are going to stop complaining once she hits those kind of comic stories, book stories, and the audio stories.
Yeah.
And writing. I am, however, excited for I can never say the word, but the Centennial finale.
Yeah,
So
I'm the
last
same.
episode.
I get confused saying that word as well.
I can. I'm sorry, whoever's listening to this, I butchered it, but yeah, I'll just say 13's final story. There we go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm excited because they're bringing back a lot of exciting things for it, and I'm really excited. And I hope they do bring her back for the 60th anniversary in some way. So we'll see.
Even if it's a cameo.
Yeah, I'm hoping Matt Smith is going to be for the 60th.
Yeah, I like, yeah, like, it's very interesting, isn't it? Because you have the new Doctor Who announced, and then you have David Tennant and Catherine Tate announced, and then you're confused. Well, I was confused. Well, like, but most people probably knew David Tennant would come back anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, but maybe Catherine Tate was more of a surprise. Like, I'm not excited to see Catherine Tate only because I saw David. He's been in it since. It's been longer wait to see Catherine in it.
And what's interesting though, as well, Mason, is the fact that she's post amnesia Donna. So this is after she has forgotten the Doctor. So has he healed her in some way? Is she feeling better? Like, what's going on here? Also, what's with David's new outfit and new screwdriver? That looks freaking awesome, but I want to know more. We have to wait until next year to find out.
I want the suit.
The suit's great. I'm digging the blue jacket, and like I love it when a Doctor has an alternate costume. I'll always be a fan of the tweed, but I do love the purple frock coat on Matt. So I love like alternate Doctor outfits are really cool.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to know more about that screwdriver because it's not his usual screwdriver.
Yeah,
So.
if I'm looking at it from the not very good pictures, but it is a little bit about like 12's older one, a little bit of River, a little bit of 10.
It's got a little pyramid. It's kind of like a more cone shape on the end of it.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Yeah, and I think it like, yeah, because you're not seeing Shooty Gatwa the Doctor at all yet. You're seeing David Tennant as the Doctor possibly, and you're thinking he's nowhere to be seen. Are we not seeing him till later on? It is because it's predicted for the 3 specials, isn't it, for David Tennant? For him to do 3 specials, and then I don't know, it possibly might be handed on to Matt Smith's time, and Matt Smith and the Ponds possibly.
I'm really hoping we get more stories with Matt's tweed days with the Ponds, because honestly, I miss the Ponds, and I do love 10, but we're getting way too much with 10, and I think, like, because obviously it was in the 50th anniversary, and now he's got his own specials coming up and that. Like, come on, give some other Doctors a chance. I mean, Colin Baker's still alive, Sylvester McCoy still. Let's get some cameos here. But I mean, I would be lying if I said I wouldn't love a complete story with Matt and the Ponds. That would be amazing, and I really hope so. And I know Peter has said that he doesn't want to return, but I hope he does in some way, because I know 12 was a very controversial Doctor. A lot of people either liked him or didn't. I really enjoyed it. I love 12. So we'll see. I'm very excited for the 60th anniversary. I think it's going to be big, and I'm really hoping they put it back onto the cinema like they did the 50th. That was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I don't think I went to cinema to see it. I think I just watched it at home because I think part of Autism, I don't like people making noise.
True.
The cinema. But what I think is going to happen, I don't think we're just getting it in November. I think we're possibly getting it throughout the year, which would be nice, because we normally wait a year for Doctor Who, don't we?
Exactly. Yeah.
And as it's the 60th year, I know it's in November, but it's the whole year will be the 60th anniversary, and hopefully throughout the year, different Doctors, different companions coming back. Which I think we're going to expect more for Jodie's last episode, because they wouldn't just put all those people in a trailer if not going to get more other things as well.
Also, I mean, I'm intrigued with Neil Patrick Harris possibly being the Celestial Toy Maker. So bringing him back after we haven't seen him since the first Doctor will be amazing. Like, I really hope, because don't get me wrong, I love the Master, but we need a little bit of a break and kind of bring in another villain that's almost as powerful, if actually more powerful than the Master. So I think it'd be really fun to see the Celestial Toymaker. And Neil Patrick Harris is an amazing actor anyway. So I'm really excited to see what he brings to it. I mean, we've seen all those like on-set videos, especially all the stuff in Bristol, and it's looking really exciting. I'm really excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah,
So it's going to be a good year, that's for sure.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like to see what happens. Like you've seen Wilfred on set, like the whole Donna Noble family on set as well.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, and you see Wilfred in the wheelchair as well. So it is it would be nice to get some flashbacks. If it is the 10th Doctor, um,
yeah.
if it isn't, I understand why not. But it would be nice if you get some flashbacks from like series 4 or something. Like just when she get her memories wiped, and then
Mm.
it goes straight into the future or something like that. That'd be nice.
I'm thinking it might be an alternate history, like given the different outfit that Ten has and the new screwdriver, and obviously we got Donna back with her memory. I mean, I'd be interested to see like because the Celestial Toymaker can bend reality. It's something he's always been able to do. So I'd be interested to see if it's just an alternate kind of what if scenario. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um, but I mean, the 60th in general, I think it's going to be an exciting year for a Who fan, and I'm going to be watching it one step at a time. And literally, I hope that we get another cinematic release because Mason, yeah, it was loud. I went to the movies. Everyone was cheering and stuff like that. So I think if if that's something that affects you quite a bit, yeah, it would have been overwhelming. I think at the time.
yeah.
So
Because you want to listen to it, don't you?
mm,
Like like I suppose it would have been similar to when the Spider-Man, like
yeah,
when Andrew and like luckily I did go to see that in the cinema, but not automatically like straight away. I went it where it's very quiet. Um,
yeah. I went midnight and it was just a lot of cheers and stuff like that. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but that's the thing that Doctor Who doesn't do though. Like they don't keep it secret. Like, I imagine if we didn't know about David Tennant, I know they can't help it. Like
yeah,
people, like they film it outside people's houses, and then they know they don't the word to get out. But it'd be nice at some point, or like they don't tell us, or
yeah.
like for a while.
There's times like where the BBC could have kept it a secret but didn't. I mean, I'm talking about the master reveal for Time and World Apart. um, they could have kept that a secret and have the reveal that it was the John Sim master, and that would have been amazing. That would have blown so many people away. But no, they revealed that it was coming back. I'm like, BBC, come on, keep it secret. But yeah, when you're out and because a lot of that though was filmed on a set, so they could have kept it secret. But obviously, yeah, you're right. Being in the street, it's loud. You got explosions going off. You got David Tennant. Like, I mean, David Tennant could leave his house and he would probably have like a ton of people bombarding him. So,
Yeah,
like, there's no way they could have kept that secret. But
yeah. Like I can't imagine being him.
oh
Like,
my gosh, yeah,
yeah, yeah. It must have been expensive for him to come back because he's now really good popular now, isn't he? Like
very,
he wasn't when he was in Doctor Who. He was kind of just getting to know what he can do. But now he's more like he's been doing all sorts of really good things. Everything he's in is awesome. Like Matt as well.
mm,
Because you got Matt like he's in the House of Dragons, isn't he? Like
yeah.
so.
And he was
But
in Morbius as well. And
yeah,
say what you will about the film, but the best part of that film was Matt Smith. Like, and I'm not just saying that as a 11 fanboy. He was legitimately the best thing, and he's an amazing actor. He's a very versatile actor, and you could tell he was like the only one having fun on that film, like because he gets to play a villain for once, which is always fun. But
yeah,
yeah, they're both really good actors, and I'm glad that they're kind of escalating from where this kind of blew up, which would have been Doctor Who. So it's amazing how much the show really ingrains you in its legacy. I mean, these guys are part of the original regeneration cycle. That's going to be legendary. Like, so they'll be known for years to come. Even they could retire and people would still know their names. So,
yeah. But they're always gonna be known for that Doctor. Like Matt Smith's always gonna be the 11th Doctor. David's always
yeah,
gonna be the 10th. Like
Yeah.
like everyone's still talking about Crystal Eccleston. He's been the ninth. It doesn't matter how many episodes you do. If it's just one episode, like Paul McGann did the movie, still getting talked about and asked, is he going to be returning? Get an episode rather than that cameo he had on the 50th. But yeah, it would be nice. Tom Baker, that's the creator. So it's all really interesting stuff.
Does open the doors for possibilities. That's the whole fun of Doctor Who, is it's infinite possibilities.
Yeah. Do you have any episodes in Matt's era? I suppose you're going to say no, but is there any episodes that you feel like weren't the greatest in his run?
If we're talking Matt's run, just entirely, because there are quite a few in the modern era that I'm not a big fan of. But if we're talking Matt, no, I'm not oblivious, because I used to study film in that, and I am a fanboy, but I also can see critical flaws and stuff quite a bit. In Matt's era, some of the weaker episodes, I think like the Lodger and that, it kind of just drags a little bit. There's a few great jokes in it, but it's a very filler episode. Like it's just there. And I suppose you could say the same thing for Closing Time as well. Wow, all the James Corden episodes. But yeah, no, there's a few that I'm not like, I could go, okay, I just won't watch that today. And there's not a lot in Matt's era that I'm like that. I think I'm trying to think in every series, apart from the Lodger and the Closing Time one. Trying to think in series 7 if there's a couple. You know what? No, I can't even think of, because I know everyone lamblasts series 7, but I really enjoyed it. I don't think there's a single episode I would skip. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites in series 7 is one that a lot of people are just like, because it's a Dr. Light episode, was Crimson Horror. I love the Crimson Horror because it brings back Autistic, but it also gives Jenny, who I always thought should have been a companion, a chance to shine. And then Clara comes in at the end, and then we just, the episode is flawed because it should have been a Jenny Doctor episode, but then Clara kind of takes over, and then Jenny has no words after that. She's kind of just regaled to the back. But otherwise, yeah, there's not a lot in Matt's era that I would be like, skip. I'm sure I'm missing something, but one of the ones that I kind of can skip is Rebel Flesh and the Oldest People. I don't hate them, but it's not my favorite.
I remember exactly when they aired, and I had a barbecue. And
That's the way to watch Doctor Who.
Yeah, I had a barbecue. So it was nice. I think it was in June time. It was the episodes aired, and I was petrified. I was petrified because I was young and I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to become a rebel. I'm going to be one. The Flash is going to be me. And yeah, like Matt did have some scary episodes. It had that one was a little bit scary. The doll one was as well.
Which one?
The doll.
Oh, the doll one. Oh yeah, the I can never remember that. Night Terrors. Night Terrors. Yeah.
Night Terrors and Silence was scary. I thought
the Silence were a really cool villain. I liked them.
And they haven't. It was a really nice storyline to Silence. Like ever since the Matt Smith's first episode in the 11th hour, they were saying the Silence will fall.
But we didn't know what that meant, and
no.
It's one of those storylines. I'm glad they kept going and ran with it. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of favorites. One of my favorites is Hyde. I know that's not everyone's favorite one, but I really enjoyed Hyde. I'm a big Ghost fan, so I like the idea behind it.
So. Oh yeah. Is that the one he went in to save the girl in the forest?
Yeah, from the creature, which wasn't evil. It was just very ugly looking, but it was just looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah, I did enjoy that one. Well, what episodes did I enjoy? Like, not so much in Matt's era. One I didn't like was in one of Peter Capaldi's era, you know, the one he was at, he's trying to get back to. It's the one after Clara died. One like it's Fate the
Oh,
Raven. The one after
yeah,
that.
it's Heaven Sent.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
I really enjoyed it
um,
because the creature in it was freaking terrifying. The fact that it constantly followed you. That was, I mean, that's my highlight.
yeah,
I know it was a bit slow, but I really enjoyed.
yeah,
I enjoyed the creature. I think.
yeah, yeah. I suppose for me, it kind of links to autism again because I got bored. It was going round and round. I was thinking, get together, Frey. You're a time lord. Take you 5 seconds to get through that wall.
Yeah.
And then he can't. He's in the same dome over and over.
Yeah, it is a bit of a long-winded episode, but I can appreciate the creature, the fact that it's always constantly following you, and you can see it on the TV screens where it is. It's like, to me, that is, as a horror fan, that is a great setup for a terrifying film. So I can appreciate it for this, but I get you. I even struggle through it sometimes because it is very slow. But yeah, it's at least it's not Fear Her. So
No.
I, ugh. But I mean, even some of the weaker episodes of Doctor Who, and I'm not just talking Matt or Peter. Like I can still enjoy him. Like,
Yeah.
I think the only one I cannot stomach at all, cannot watch, and I will always say, and this is not going to be a shock to people, is Love and Monsters. I can't watch it. It's such a cringe one. It's the one with the Absorbalov.
Oh yeah.
With Linda, like the group Linda.
Yeah.
I can't watch it because it always makes it. I think again, this goes with my autism. Like when people are doing something and you're like I can't watch it because it cringes. This is why I can't watch Elf, the movie Elf, because it's just over the top and it makes me cringe, like socially cringe. But I think other than that, even some of the weaker episodes I can still watch and still enjoy them.
Yeah. Except from Double Monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't watch it. Like I mean, it was a bit cringe, like you say. Like them, like they absorbs them, and you see the faces of like everyone's on his butt, and then you got them everywhere. And yeah. But what I didn't get, like I said it before, like, and it's very dumb. Like the characters are made really dumb because if I was there and each time I went to a
Yeah.
session and the guy, like the teacher says, if you can stay around like 5 minutes and tells everyone else to leave, you're gonna wonder, but hang on a minute, he's taking them somewhere, doing something to them. And each time that same person doesn't turn up and he says, oh, they're at the doctor's appointment or something.
Yeah. You kind of figure it out after like the first one, even just the first one. You're like, they've disappeared. That's a bit mysterious.
Yeah. And you don't really know that character that well. They don't even know. They're letting him in, like wanting information of the doctor. And
exactly.
it's very dumb, but yeah.
It's one of the few times the Doctor Light episode doesn't work. I mean, you've got an amazing one like Blink that works really well, and then you've got Love and Monsters. So it's it's at least there's a balance there.
Yeah. Like with Peter Capaldi's run, I didn't really enjoy his first 2 seasons, but I didn't get that much into it. But like it's different because with David and Matt, I was in it straight away. And then it was a different process for Peter Capaldi's Doctor because it took me longer to get it. And I loved his last season. I think it was great. But I felt like Clara's character went on a bit too long. It would have been nice to see Bill a bit more. Even Bill go on with the 30th Doctor. Rather than she gets killed off.
Yeah. Becomes a Cyberman. Who knew?
Yeah, but one thing I would love, because of like we said about the writing with Chibnall, it hasn't been as the greatest. What I would say, well, maybe be rewarding, not for everyone. If you like Jodie, like the 30th Doctor, and Yaz, you probably disagree with me. But what I want to happen is a massive plot that Yaz is evil, and all this time she's not really Yaz. She's against Jodie, like not Jodie, but the 30th Doctor, and then
what a twist!
Yeah, a really big twist, and then 30th betrayed because no one's ever done that before, and like because it questions yourself because why would you show the main villains in the trailer, like the Master, the Cybermen, the Daleks. I don't think they're the main villains. I think someone else is in the her last
Yeah.
story.
I'm still waiting for Omega to come back. I really want Omega to come back. He's such a great villain.
Yeah, yeah. Omega would be great. I
Yeah.
think,
Have some Time Lord villain that isn't the Master coming after.
yeah, we need someone else than the Master. Like I think, like the Master needs to have a break, even for a few Doctor
Just a
incarnations.
yeah. I mean, Matt didn't even get a Master, which surprised me, to be fair. Right. So, I mean, at least at least like 12 got two. He got Missy and John Sim. So,
You're lucky.
yeah,
Um,
but I would have been interested to see Matt actually come across a Master just to see what his interaction would be. So,
the Dream Lord, like he kind
yeah,
of
it's
give you
close.
Master vibes, I suppose.
Yeah, I loved when that trailer dropped for that episode because I remember that trailer dropping. Everyone thought it was the Master. It was like, no. And then it was like, no, it's just the Doctor talking to himself. His darker form. So
It would have been nice if it was the Master, because he could put that the character seemed like Master.
or it could have been the Valyard.
Yeah,
Just bring back the Valyard.
yeah,
So, which we still haven't seen yet because it's supposed to take place between the Doctor's last regeneration, and it's supposed to show up is the Doctor's darker side as an incarnation. So one day, maybe one day we'll
yeah.
see that come back.
One day, like yeah,
One day he will come back. Yes,
yeah,
he will come back.
yeah, he will. Um, but yeah, like it's very exciting for Doctor Who, I think.
Mm.
Matt Smith he said, hasn't he, like even over Morbius, he would do Doctor Who.
They do it. I think Matt has a very loving relationship with the show, and I think it's one of those things that I would love to see him come back. Uh, Everyone keeps saying like, "Oh, David should be an incarnation like as 14." I'm like, no, but I would love to see. I would never wish that even on Matt. I would love to see 11 come back in some capacity. So hopefully one day, because I
Yeah,
want to see that screwdriver again.
yeah, yeah. Who knows? He might get a new one.
No, I'm sorry. The design is just too perfect. It's my favorite screwdriver. It's it's one of the few that actually feels like a tool.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It like I do like Matt's one. It's really nice.
Oh, I fell in love with it. The moment it came out of the TARDIS and he grabbed it, it's like, ooh, a new one. Thank you, dear. I loved it. It's a beautiful design, and I love the fact that it fits Matt's Doctor so well. The fact that it's got leather binding and it feels like part of his first generation TARDIS, which by the way is my favorite. I love the first Matt Smith TARDIS. I think it's great. So yeah, it fits really well, and I love the functionality of it. So,
but you like his like first one better than the one he had later on.
I do. I understand why they changed it because he's in mourning, but I love the first TARDIS interior because it fits him so well. Like he's a patchwork person. So like there's bits of like a boiler in there and stuff like it's just it feels like a home. I could live in that TARDIS and really enjoy it. So
Yeah,
it's definitely my favorite. I think out of all at least the modern era TARDISes. So
yeah.
um,
I think his is actually the best TARDIS over David's and Nine's. Um,
feels
I,
very grungy with tens. Like it feels like a workshop more than like say somewhere he lives. But
yeah,
saying that though, I do have a soft spot for that TARDIS interior. I think it's going from both 9 to 10. It has developed enough time where people have become attached to it, and I understand why. Because it is kind of a very science fiction-y looking design.
yeah.
So yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what the new Doctor is going to
Oh,
end up looking like.
absolutely. I'm actually very curious to see what its screwdriver is going to look like because I'm always intrigued with a new design to see what Nick Roberto and his team come up with.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm not a fan of 13 Sonic
no,
screwdriver.
I'm not. I'm It's the same with the TARDIS interior. I'm not a crystal. I don't like the crystals. It just feels too compact. I don't know, but
No, yeah, it's like really small. It looks, doesn't it?
it does. Out of all the TARDIS interiors, it feels the most kind of confined. I feel so.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
probably bigger if you go in person. Like I know you could do tours for it, but when they shoot it and when you see it in the series, it feels very confined. Like it feels like if you walk 2 feet, you'd hit the wall. But I don't know. Like I said, it could be completely a different experience seeing it in person, like a lot bigger.
yeah, yeah. I suppose it would. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I don't know. Like, it's gonna be interesting if David is actually gonna be. Is there going to be a glitch where he is? Because you haven't, no one's seen. They would announce that should you get well, like if they're going to announce David's filming, why would
Yeah.
David be filming before the new Doctor? Supposed to be the new Doctor.
Yeah, it is interesting because I don't think they've even started shooting series 14 yet. I think they're starting in August,
Hmm.
I believe. In the fall they're starting to shoot series 14, which I find. I'm sorry, this is part of our autism. Like I love the fact that we're getting the 14th Doctor on the series 14.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's good.
I love that with the 13th Doctor as well. She gets Series 13.
Series 13, yeah, but they called it Flux, but I like it. Technically it's series 13 with 13, and it's just stupid things like that that get stuck in my head. I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
we're getting 14th Doctor in a series 14.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm excited to see. I think Shooty's going to be an amazing Doctor. I've seen him in Sex Education, so when he got announced I was like, oh, it's Eric from Sex
yeah.
Education.
Yeah, I'll say
But
that as well.
he can play comedy really well. Like he's really funny, but he can do drama so well. Like if seriously watch that series if you want a good view of his acting ability because he can do all of it. So I'm really excited. I'm very happy with the casting for 14. I think he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great because in a way you can see he's gonna be really funny and really serious from watching Sex Education.
Yeah.
Um, um, but yeah, it's good. I'm very excited to see. Like, and I don't know if they're gonna do Series 14. Is it gonna get released next year? Is it gonna be the year after for the year after if they're doing the 60th anniversary for the whole year? Because, but like, what if they're doing that? I feel they're going to be doing these different specials with past incarnations, and that leads up to find Shooty's Doctor within November, the month November.
We're also getting the Christmas special. We're getting something for Christmas as well, which is
Yeah,
supposed to be something special for the fans. So we might get something then.
yeah,
So
yeah. So we could get that maybe this Christmas. It'd be nice to get it this Christmas.
oh yeah, Russell T has already said he wants to bring back the Christmas specials. I'm like, yes,
Yes.
please. No more New Year specials. Just
Yeah.
Christmas specials, please.
Yeah. They can't like I in a way I understand why they changed it because they changed everything. They changed the writer, they changed the music. Murray Gold would have went, didn't he?
I think
And
he's coming back. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure I saw him with Russell. Like I'm pretty sure he's coming back.
yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so because like music is a massive part of autism as well, and a massive
Mm.
part of Doctor Who. And the music with Jodie there, it's not like you can hear it really, is it?
There's apart from maybe 13's because I'm the same, Mason. I when I'm writing scripts and stuff, I listen to music and it really influences when I'm using my imagination to write scripts and stuff like that. And with Murray Goals, there's so many you could hum and themes that you can hum. But as the only one I know off the top of my head from maybe 13's era is 13's theme, and that's very loose. Like so,
Yeah, it's really
but
quiet, isn't it?
yeah, there's no iconic piece of music I think from like 13's era. But saying that though, hopefully we do get Murray back and we get some really iconic music back in. Like I said, nothing against the composer for 13, but I just don't think he's produced apart from I mean, I love 13's theme. I think it's a beautiful theme, but I think other than 13's theme, there's not been one where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's catchy. Like the big one for me for Murray Gold, and again, bit of bias, but is I Am the Doctor is an amazing piece of orchestra. But and then even Ten's theme is beautiful. The Doctor Forever is a fantastic thing. But hopefully we get something like that. in series 14.
Yeah, I'm listening. Whenever I do a podcast or I write up, I always listen to Murray Gold, and I love Dazzling End is one of my favourites. I like
Yes, that's a good one.
or the Freedom song.
Freedom's good.
I'll have it in a mix. I can listen to any of them. But with Murray Gold, any song I'll listen to it. But I do have some favourites. Like I Am the Doctor. I love I Am the Doctor.
Yeah.
I love all the 11th Doctor's themes.
Oh, absolutely.
Not as much with the 12th Doctor's themes, but I love the 12th Doctor's music as well. The 9th Doctor.
A Good Man is a good song as well. I like.
Yeah, and like Westminster Bridge is lovely from the 9th Doctor. I love that one. They're all brilliant. Music plays a massive part within Doctor Who and Autism, I think.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah, but I suppose. But before we finish, David, I know you said about like I quite, but maybe before we say that, do you have anything about autism? Maybe any advice through autism you would want to send or give out?
Never be afraid to be yourself. Honestly, I used to be afraid of that, but I had a loving parents. I had fantastic friends. I had an amazing support group. Never be embarrassed to go out there and make friends, because honestly, they are the best of you, and they will make your life a lot better. I used to be such a lonely kid until I met my friends, and I improved. I managed to grow as a person. So honestly, just be yourself. You will have we're all nerds here. Like, honestly, go to a con, meet some, honestly, the nerd culture is fantastic for making friends in this, and never be afraid to be yourself. Honestly, it's never going to be a good thing to hide who you are. I mean, if I didn't, I mean, my girlfriend tolerates me with all my nerd stuff, but no, I'm just kidding. She loves it. But you will always find someone to support you who can love you to who you are, because like I said, when I was a kid, it was pretty rough. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. Don't be afraid to be yourself is some really good advice there, David. Because I agree. I'm sure a lot of people do as well.
It's one of the things I like about Doctor Who. Some of the quotes really attached to that. So
yeah. So going on to quotes, what is a quote that kind of you relate to?
Actually, it fits in with what I just said, but my favorite quote is, surprisingly, it's an 11 quote, and it's from the regeneration scene. And I'm going to kind of act this out.
Okay.
We all change when you think about it. We're all different people all through our lives, and that's okay. That's good. You got to keep moving so long as you remember all the people that you used to be. I will not forget one line of this. Not one day. I swear. I will always remember when the Doctor was me. Obviously, the quote for me is where he says, "Remember all the people that you used to be," but I had to finish on that because it's one of my favorite lines. But never forget where you came from, and always look to the future towards where you're going, because it's worth it.
Okay. Well, I love that quote as well, because it is really relatable, because you're not going to forget when the Doctor is him, because he looks into the camera at the moment, doesn't he? And he says, "I will always remember when the Doctor was me." And no other Doctor said that. He's the only Doctor to say that. Of course, you've got 12 that did a lovely speech as well.
I think it's Matt's talking to the audience, and I love that. I love the fact he gets to say a goodbye through the character, and it's it's brilliant.
I think it's for the actor as well, isn't it? Like, the actor saying goodbye, as well as, because they love playing the role, and they know it's not forever when they sign up to it.
But
they know it.
They will always be the Doctor to the fans, every single day, every single hour, and every year. They will always be the Doctor.
Yeah, we'll always be the Doctor, and we're all the Doctor in our own little way. And as we said at the beginning, Doctor is a little bit. You can just see that he hasn't. Like, the character is autistic. It's kind of that.
I always think that every incarnation has some form of autism, and always remember that just remember the doctor's autistic as well. So.
Yeah, it's very helpful, and that's probably why there's something out there, people with autism who like Doctor Who, because I find that, I don't know about you, Dave, but I find lots of people love Doctor who have autism.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's been great speaking to you, David. It's been
It's
awesome.
been a pleasure.
Yeah, so thank you again, and yeah, well, we will never forget who the Doctor is.
Never.
Never. Well, thanks, David.